Hello everyone, welcome back to Frames of Nature, a channel about nature, photography, and more. This is part 2 of a two-part episode on jumping spiders. If you haven't watched part 1, I highly recommend that you do so and come back. Let us start again with the amazing Spider-Man. The way he swings around town saying hello, the way he scales extraordinary heights with ease, the way he catches a getaway car in a tangle, all these are possible because of one unique substance or material, however you want to call it, that is synonymous with the spiders, the silk. There are insects which produce silk, like the silkworms. However, they produce only one type of silk, which is solely intended for the creation of their cocoons. But spiders are capable of producing different types of silk to serve different types of needs. Spider silk is one outstanding fibrous biomaterial which is almost entirely made of large proteins. It is incredibly tough and stronger by weight than steel. It is said that the spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel of the same diameter. It has also been estimated that a Boeing 747 could be stopped in flight by a single pencil width strand. It is also very elastic and can stretch to 2 to 4 times its original length without breaking. It is finer than human hair and able to keep its strength over a wide range of temperatures, even at minus 40 degrees centigrade. It is also very lightweight. A strand long enough to circle the entire earth will weigh much less than a kilogram. Spider silk is also tougher, more elastic, and more waterproof than silkworm silk, so it could have a much wider range of applications. One very interesting tidbit: in 2009, the world's largest and rarest piece of cloth, made entirely from spider silk, was exhibited at the American Museum of Natural History. It took silk from over a million individual spiders and 4 years to create this. The silk was from a spider known as the golden orb web spider, found in Africa and the islands around it. This was one of those rare instances, though. We humans have neither been able to mass produce spider silk by culturing and rearing spiders like silkworms, nor have we been able to artificially create it in our labs yet. The mention of silk and spider brings to your mind the amazing webs these wonderful builders create, right? Here are a few of the amazing creations. Jumping spiders, however, do not build webs. They still use silk for a variety of other purposes. Like all other spiders, the jumpers produce their silk from a set of silk glands located on the lower side of the abdomen. The generated silk comes out of a structure known as the spinneret, as you see in the image here. Moving around, when a jumping spider encounters a large gap, too long for it to leap across, it squirts out a strand of silk and leaves it dangling in the air. A gentle breeze will carry the strand to the other side and it hooks onto some surface, thus becoming a bridge. Then the spider easily crosses over. To cover longer distances, the jumping spider employs a technique similar to the crab spider seen here. A breeze catches the strand of silk and takes the spider on a long distance flight. This is also known as parachuting or ballooning. Jumping spiders also use silk as drop or drag lines when they leap off from a position. How this helps is like this. Before jumping, the spider attaches a strand of silk to the surface. This strand stretches as the spider leaps, stabilizing it in mid-air and helping the spider land smoothly on the other side. In case the spider misses the target, it is still dangling down, holding to the strand and doesn't fall off directly to the surface below. It can slowly climb back up and attempt the leap again. The same technique is used to instantly escape from any potential threat, also used while hunting. When the jumper pounces on its prey, two things can happen. One, it can miss the target and lose its footing. The drop line or the safety line will hold on to the spider. Two, it can catch hold of the prey but lose its footing, maybe because the prey struggled. Even in this scenario, the safety line holds on to the spider and the spider continues to hold on to its prey without a worry in the world. This drop line is what enables jumping spiders to make their pouncing attacks in very weird angles, outwitting the powers of gravity. Jumping spiders use their silk for making beautiful little homes. They tie around a few leaves using the silk and make nice small tents to settle in. This provides shelter for the spider from inclement weather, a place to molt, a place to lay eggs, and protection for their young ones. Jumping spiders are very powerful predators. They are mostly moving around during the day and actively seek out prey. With their amazing vision, they are able to assess the range, distance, and movement of their prey very efficiently. Once a potential prey is locked on, they stalk it and try to get as close as possible before making the strike. As soon as they pounce and make the grab, they inject the prey with venom, instantly paralyzing it. The venom also starts digesting the internal tissue of the prey, which the spider will suck out like liquid. Jumping spiders are very cunning as well. They are masters of camouflage and mimicry. There are jumping spiders which mimic different types of ants, like the carpenter ant and the weaver ant. These have very slender and extended bodies, very similar to that of ants. They also move around with their two front legs raised up like the antennae of ants, as you see in the image here. This helps them in a couple of ways. 1. Safety in numbers, as ants are generally numerous. 2. Helps in moving around ant colonies unnoticed and in turn preying on the ants. Jumping spiders are also extremely smart hunters. This is what enables them to hunt prey which is multifold bigger than themselves. A species of jumping spider, called the Portia, is known to be highly intelligent and very good at problem solving. When the Portia encounters a large orb spider sitting at the center of her web, it cannot go and directly attack the spider because the moment it steps into the web, it will get stuck and will become the meal of the orb spider instead. So, what the Portia does is, it sits at the outer edge of the web and plucks at the silk strands with its legs, imitating the vibrations made by an insect caught in the web and struggling. This draws the unassuming orb spider towards the waiting Portia. As soon as it gets within reach, the Portia pounces and makes a meal of it. Jumping spiders are very cunning, smart, and powerful, characteristics essential for being an efficient predator, akin to the big cats roaming in our forests. That is the reason I like to refer to jumping spiders as the tigers of the arthropod world. This concludes part 2 of a two-part episode on jumping spiders. If you liked it, do give a thumbs up and share, and do not forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching.